Up after the break, we'll take a look at.
Pardon the interruption for a very important news update.
This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther, farther, farther. Theme hits loud, then the grips come off. Call out the card, call every payoff. Botches, legends, titles, and heat. Pay-per-view nights, run it back, repeat. They slam, we analyze. Move for move, every feud, every bruise, every dreaming moon. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. No script, just true. Every jab breaks through. From the bell to the brawl. Name the show. We want it all. 1, 2, 3. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bobby Melendez, joined always by my tag team partner, Josh Kimmel. And before we started, we got cut off by the intro, and I was saying this is one of those, F it, let's go. Let's do it. You know, so much going on around us, but it was like, let's do it. This is part 2 of our Unreal Season 2 review. We started last week. We had a very good show, a fun show. We had so much more to talk about. We were like, but we're cutting it at a hard stop, about an hour, a little bit. So we're going to continue. But Josh, before we do, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. Cannot complain. I'm a little tired today, but we'll push through. Big topics on today's show. There's a reason for the madness of doing the part 2 is 1, extend our mini vacation of not preparing for a show since we prepared for this all last week. And 2, I didn't want to skip over the most important parts, which is basically this show. Like the rest of the topics that we have remaining today from WWE Unreal Season 2 is, the Rollins stuff, the gorilla position, how that works, Io Sky. So I felt like I didn't want to rush that or get lost or have this stuff get lost, because this all right here was the reason why the show was good. The topics we're about to talk about. So strap in. We're going to give you another 60 minutes of hardcore analysis on this amazing reality show, in quotes. Hey, brother, only circle of trust, only us, only we know. And the person that's mic'd up, and then the production crew, and the cameraman, and, everyone in here knows now. So it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how they play it off. It's just, but it is what it is.
It's like when Triple H told Cody, it's like, I'm only going to tell you because you're a lead dog, you're a quarterback, but, I don't want it to be like, oh, Paul's telling everybody. It's like, where you're being recorded right now. Just throw that out there to you, Hunter, So, yeah. No, I'll tell you, all jokes aside, it is a fun show to watch. It kind of, even though, it's, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. It's still cool to see kind of a little bit behind the scenes. What is revealed, kind of, the intimate moments in Gorilla that you see, when Seth is talking to Becky, and you see Seth and talking to the guys. You see Becky in the background with her kid, and the different interactions, and when Valkyra was upset, that she messed up the match. We talked about it last week, and you just see John Cena back there doing what people say he does, and being that leader, and kind of coaching her up and saying, hey man, or not coaching her up, but really cheering her up, saying that worked well. That did good. You tried, So those are the little things that I appreciate with this show. Like, yeah, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, but I do appreciate the behind the scenes stuff. Like, oh, okay, Road Dogg and Ron Killings' relationship, how that started, and then kind of to build that up to see how that affects Jets Road Dogg now, and Becky and Seth at home, and then Chelsea Green with their new home, and then Penta. And I love that they brought up Penta and Chelsea Green, their history. I like that they did that. They didn't, that they Lucha Underground. So those are little things that I really do appreciate about this show. And what we're going to discuss now, there's so much, like, we're going to touch on LA Knight. There is a plethora, a group of fans, a real big group of fans that really believe that this guy is the guy. He deserves the spot, and it's like, but what's the problem? What, he has it all. He could tell a story in the ring. He could tell a story on the mic. He is old school. If he was back in the day of the Dusty Rhodes and the Ric Flairs and whatever, he'd kill it because he could talk. He could walk. If he was in the Attitude Era, he would kill it because he'd stay on he could go mic to mic with The Rock or mic to mic with the Austins. But for whatever reason, he has not broke through the glass ceiling, which is the main event. He's had a world title match, but he has never won the title. Why? Well, maybe this gives you a preview into, or a sneak peek into why he's not, can't follow the basic instruction, kayfabe, doesn't exist anymore. Does, is everything a shoe or is everything a war? What does kayfabe matter anymore? Io Sky, probably one of the things that Triple H said, Paul Levesque, he said, if you were to tell me, if I had to create my own wrestling company, basically paraphrasing, if I was to create my own thing and you would say I could pick any one person, I'd say, give me Io Sky, something like that. We're going to touch on that. Why does he say that? Should that be the case? And then, Senior Cody too. So there's a lot to talk about here, but Josh, I'm going to let you take the reins and you tell me where we're going to start.
Well, you already brought up LA Knight, and I don't see why we wouldn't start there. This was the big takeaway. If you didn't watch the show on social media, the first week, everyone was posting this clip of what you see now of LA Knight getting reamed by Triple H. Reamed. No, he wasn't. It was constructive feedback. If you've watched the segment already.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
LA Knight messed up. Seth finished the match, and he went back there, and Triple H told him, hey, man, this was set up for you. You were supposed to look like a superstar. You didn't follow instruction. It didn't go well. It didn't go the way it was supposed to be. Get better. That's 2026 in a nutshell. If you get told anything by your boss, I feel like you can just go to HR. I don't like the way he said it. I don't like the way she said it. So people on the internet will watch this clip and go, oh, Triple H. No, he didn't follow direction. He wasn't there. He wasn't where he was supposed to be. He messed up the match. So you're telling me Alan Rickman could just go off script anytime during Harry Potter? Anytime he wanted to as professors? No, he has a story. He can't just say, you know what? I'm not going to complete this line and I'm going to go somewhere else. No, the director would have said, hey man, Alan, I know you're a great superstar. You've won many Oscars. You're this and that. You're the greatest actor in our generation. Just do the line, brother. LA Knight, just do your spot, brother. That spot was made for you. But here we are, and people took great offense to it. Oh, Triple H is burying this guy. No. I feel like you're going to have similar opinions, Bobby. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we saw everything on social media when this picture came out, and we saw a little bit of a clip, and you're kind of like, damn, dude, why does he hate him so much? Like, look how defeated he looks. I feel so bad. I want to get, I want to get him a tissue. Let's get him some help. And then you watch the show and you see what they want to do and how they want to do it. Like, yeah, Seth is going over. LA Knight's not. Penta's not. But the final stretch of that match, the close of that match, was to make LA Knight look strong. You don't have to look like a superstar. You don't have to, win in order to look strong. It was meant for him to look strong, to come out on top. It's like, oh, here he comes. He's going to do it. He knocks down Seth Rollins. There's this magic moment. It's between him and Seth. He knocks down Seth. He's about to get it. Here comes Seth again. Oh my God, heartbreak. But then LA Knight looks like a hero. Like, oh, I was this close to doing it. Now wanting the fans more. And it is what the WWE does too. Yeah, they drop a ball. They drop the ball on a lot of guys. But with guys like this, they keep tearing you down. They tear you down. He can't break through. He can't get through. And then he does, and it's better. It's a greater moment. And this is one of those times where, hey, it's going to look like you're going to do it, man. LA Knight, WWE knows what they have in LA Knight. I don't think they're that stupid. in spite of what people may say. And this proves it. LA in the night. This is stories for Seth, but we're going to help build you up, continue to build you by putting you just close enough. But then you watch, it seems pretty simple. It seems like, oh, that's easy. Okay, run up above. And then you're watching the match, or you watch that clip in Unreal, and where's LA Knight? He's on the floor watching. And so what does he do? And instead of climbing on the other side and running up the ladder to try to save the spot, he starts grabbing Seth's leg and he's pulling on the leg, and and then and it just basically, that's it. So you find out Seth was pissed because Seth is a perfectionist. We talked about that last week, which I get it. And maybe that's why Seth is in the spot he is in. He's that guy. He's that type of guy. That's why he's famous now for sitting in that second gorilla, where he can watch the monitor. He's watching with Kevin Owens. And he kind of, every time somebody comes back, he coaches them up and whatever. That's what Bailey talks about. So for someone like LA Knight, who's knocking on that glass ceiling, he looks so good on the mic. He looks so good in the ring. In certain aspects, he still has some things to work on. But you think like, oh, what else can he do? That. Do your job. Be ready. This is not some high school gym and, hey, okay, you two go out and go have a match and we're going to do a bunch of flips and, whatever. Let's call it in the ring. No, this is a live program, entertainment. We do stories here. It is not for you just to go out and do whatever the hell you want. Follow the direction, because guess what? If you want the ball, then you better perform the play correctly. You can't go in it for yourself, brother. It's a shoot. Do the thing. And he didn't. And so I think you're right. When you go back and you watch this and you see what happened, and you could tell that Bruce Pritchard and Paul Levesque, and they were pissed. But Triple H wasn't going in on him. He was saying, hey, man, that was for you, bro. That was for you to make you look good. And, and that looks like LA Knight was just like, damn it, man. Like, because you think about it, it's like, it did. Imagine if he would have just came that close, looked like $1 million, he probably could have turned right around and taken it. But that's when the front office loses trust. So in the end, I think it made LA Knight, if you didn't watch this series and you just watch that little clip, Triple H, Paul Levesque looked bad. You watch the series, you see that episode, and you're like, I get it. Doesn't make him look so bad. And then it makes you look at LA Knight in a different light when you watch him in the ring and different things like that. So, but I don't think this takes him down. I don't think, it's LA Knight is still there. I know a lot of people are getting impatient, like, oh, he's always going to be held down. He needs to go here or there. No, they know what they got in him. When you hear that music hit and you see that, and it's not the greatest theme song. It's that LA, and then it goes, that the after part of that song, I can't stand it. But when you hear that pop, you know what you got. WWE knows what they got. You just got to give it time. Let the story play out. You don't like the no, stick a freaking thing in my ear.
I love it. No, yeah. So that people on the internet were going crazy, but over this situation. But there's a lot of the stuff that goes on in Gorilla. Gorilla is a interesting spot. You have a randomly Undertaker sitting there like a stooge, right? Just
no point in the story. What are you doing there, brother?
Right? Like he's just sitting there. You got Becky on a couch at some point playing with her baby. Some people are coming in Gorilla. One's, hey, clear Gorilla, right? So you can't. Some people like Gorilla just seems like a madhouse where they always got the best part, Bobby. Let me tell you this. The best part is someone, whether it's Bruce Pritchard or Triple H himself, I doubt it's Triple H himself, but the bag of freaking Sour Patch Kids or whatever those gummies are.
I saw that. Yeah, my kids noticed. Tristan noticed that.
I'm like, it's every scene. So like, chill out on the sugar, guys. But I don't know, man. What do you think about Gorilla? It just seems like a madhouse. Just maddening.
I mean, you don't have to know, even if you don't care about behind the scenes, you just care about the ring. If you're just like that type of fan, we are fans that, we pay attention to everything. We're students of the game, if you say so. We understand the Gorilla position and why there's a Gorilla position and who they mean by Gorilla Monsoon. I mean, one of the greatest announcer commentators of all time, and obviously a big presence in WWE, WWF. I really love these clips. you kind of see. I think it's also kind of ridiculous in a way to go to every city and build a whole little office, and now it's like, just, they have a backstage, just set up, put a table back there and do it. You got to set this all up. And you're right, you got Taker back there, you got Becky back there. When Triple H goes, clear Gorilla, we have a surprise. You think he's telling Taker, get the hell out? Like, there's little things like that. But I'll tell you what I do like when I'm looking at Gorilla, when I'm watching these clips. Like, again, you don't know. I love, first off, when you hear how Triple H, Paul Levesque, and Pritchard and the producers, they're talking to the referee, and gives you an appreciation for the referee, and you know what they're saying to the commentators, and like that is, it tells you like, damn, this is not just go in the ring and do something. This is, hey, you're calling this now. Hey, he's coming. Is he hurt? Is he all right? All right, get up. Hey, he's gonna fake it now. Here he comes. Like, it's a live, it's entertainment. So it gives you a bigger appreciation, if you give a damn about that, of the actual the production of the show, which I think is really cool. And I get it. What I appreciate more is watching the Bobby Roodes of the world. The Chris Parks, Abyss, Bobby Roode, Glory, who I liked in he was in TNA, Robert Roode, and went in with the WWE and Glorious, and I'm forgetting TJ, Natty's husband. You see that, and that makes me appreciate them more. How you see how much they bring that experience in, and I feel that this guy who's a huge monster of a man, who was a monster in TNA, and Chris Parks, Abyss, and he's this freaking puppy. He's really a gentle giant, and he's always saying he's sorry, and he's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, dude, and Triple H tells him, that's not on you. When they're out there, that's on them. And it's the same thing as a coach when it comes to football. You could only, you teach them all week, practice, run this play, do this, hand it off, flea flicker, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, all right, here's the game. Bam, bam, call this play. It's been working in practice. We've been doing it. And then it goes on the field, and the quarterback hands it to the running back. The running back starts running, flea flickers it back. It goes way over his head. Fumble, touchdown. Oh my God, what a stupid ass play. The coach is an idiot. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, the players F that up. So those are the little things that you see behind the scenes that I'm like, I really do appreciate. It makes me appreciate the producers more, and William Regals. I know we saw a clip of that last season, and and of course, I'm seeing his hat there. I'm trying to remember his name. The Freebird. Oh crap, Hayes, Michael Hayes. Yeah. And just how important he is. That he's like, I don't mean to call him. I'm not calling him a cockroach in a bad way, but it's like he just survives every regime. I mean, he's been there since dinosaurs. I mean, this guy doesn't end, and he just wears the same stuff, and he's still relevant back there. And you hear him how he coaches these guys. Like one thing you brought up last week, which it's true, and I think people don't. Some people it could go past their head if they're not really understanding it, but he seems to be real too. He's not bullshit. He's not BSing you. If you say, hey, and remember he said, they're like, oh, he's telling Jelly Roll, they're all, dude, you don't even feel it, man. They're going to take care of you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's going to hurt for a few minutes, and then, you'll go out of breath. You won't feel it till tomorrow. And you're like, damn, Michael, shut up, dude. He's trying to get into it, but it's like, I'm going to tell you how it is. What do you think of the Gorilla position? Do you like seeing these scenes in the show? Would you like more like to see what happens in Gorilla compared to maybe at home with their dogs cooking in the kitchen? Like, I prefer like the behind the scenes stories with this, because I want to see maybe a wrestler disagree. Like, I don't want to do that. You kind of like when Becky goes to Paul Levesque, Triple H is like, they're going to complain. On Twitter, they're going to say this about taking Bailey's spot. Maybe if I do this, and he's like, well, let me think about that. Of course, eventually he didn't do it. He just did what he wanted. But do you prefer to see that more? Do you like seeing Gorilla position? Would you like to see more of that maybe into season 3?
I wish it felt real. To me, the whole, all of it feels like an act. I feel like all of it feels like an act. Or, when Triple H, when R-Truth came back after his, when he was re-signed, and it was a big pop, and he came back there, and that was part of the plan, man, blah, blah. Like, it just seems manufactured. Like, okay, all right, time to get the pep talk with Truth and Triple H. We need this shot for the show. Say that you guys like each other, even though you guys probably don't. Like, it just seems more of like fake to me. I see through it. but I also see the parts that are real. So to answer your question, yes, I like it. I like the gorilla position. I like to see the producers stress about certain spots. It also takes away the magic. And I was listening to another podcast regarding this show, particularly. And the person that I was listening to was in the business for a very long time. And he had the same comments as I had last week. Everything is so micromanaged. And he confirmed it was never like this back in the day. Wrestlers had instincts. People knew when to stop. People knew when to let the crowd go on. Now everything's so micromanaged. Wrestlers, like, to me, is Gunther great? Well, he can execute what Triple H tells him to do, but does he have the great wrestling instincts? I don't know, because now Triple H, he was the one telling him to hold the headlock on Pat McAfee for so long and when to release it. Like, I would like to know that my wrestlers are doing that they are smart enough to know how to play a crowd up. But in reality, it's all backstage, and it wasn't like that before. So, yes, I like to see it, but man, it takes a lot of magic away. It takes a lot of magic away from the performers. I think it's hurting them more than anything. If that makes sense.
So no, it does. I mean, we've seen examples throughout history in wrestling with the older guys calling an audible in the ring. It's funny how it always kind of goes back to that, but I'm going to go to WrestleMania 18. Rock Hogan. Hogan was the villain. Rock was the babyface. They did all they could to make you hate Hollywood Hogan. The truck, the running over Rock, hitting him with a lead pipe, blah, 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 blah. I mean, Rock was the hero. Here he comes. I mean, as much as that's so unbelievable that you're hit by a truck in an ambulance, you're hit in the head with the bat, and here you are, you're totally fine. You're not bandaged up. You're doing all this. And then the fans just were not having it. They were Team Hogan 100%, which was crazy. I mean, but it makes sense if you think about what he built there and what he was. And I mean, they talk about how The Rock and Hogan called that audible in the ring. And, like, hey, let's feed the fans. Let's go, I'm going to push you. I don't think Vince McMahon's back there going, okay, Hogan, flex, tell Hogan to flex. No, at that point, it's like, all right, let's sit back and watch. Bruce Pritchard even says it, how he left his seat. We know he's back there with Vince. He left his seat and he stood at the curtain to watch that match. Because at that point, those are two guys that can do it. Back then, I don't think McMahon was in anybody's ear. McMahon was a commentator. I don't think he was in a referee's ear when Hogan was fighting Andre or Warrior or Slaughter or whomever. You could trust that guy. I think you have a great point because you think about it, and I think Gunther's smart enough to call it in the ring. Bret Hart was smart enough to call it in the ring. Maybe, now how many of them have the balls to actually switch it up in the ring? That's the thing, to say, hey, this is not working. We've got to change this, and I think that's where the problem is. It's like, hey, you got to do this by the book. Now, I do understand. Hey, here's the beginning. You guys lock it up. You do this, bam, 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 or you get jumped before the match or whatever. Here's that high spot. And then here's the end. Everything else, you guys run, I think Gunther could do that. I think you're right on the money though. When you're like the micromanaging, as much as I do appreciate watching these guys do all this, how much better may be the product in the ring or just in general if you let the guys kind of grow on their own and, you kind of give that trust in them like you did the Hogans and the Savages and, maybe the Rock and the Austin or whatever, which I'm sure Rock was more in what the current era just because he dealt with Vince and this is what Vince has adapted. This is still Vince where everything is micromanaged because that's Vince McMahon. That's what he was. I mean, he was talking into the comment. You think you and I could sit there and call a match, but in WWE, you're listening to McMahon telling you what to say. You only could say so much. And if you go over, you're going to get blasted. So that I love that. Now you bring up another good point and it kind of goes right into what what we're going to talk about and kayfabe. You watch this and there are things that I appreciate, but there's, like we said, I said at the beginning, you brought up a great point here where how much you could believe and you don't believe. Watching this, you can only take so much with a very thin grain of salt. You could, how much of it is real? How much of it is not? Here's the thing, Paul Heyman says, I hate to break it to you, but I absolutely hate this show. Undertaker has said, Mark Calloway, I don't like it. You know, you're when I go see a magician, I don't need to know how he does the trick. I agree with that. And it's the same thing as like I can still know all this, which I do love watching this and reading. And I've read books. I've the Hogan book, the Ric Flair book. I love reading the behind the scenes stuff and how they negotiated contracts and whatever. Yet still appreciate what I'm watching. Still close that off and still get excited when I'm watching the ring. Like, oh my God, this guy showed up. Whoa! Even though we heard rumors for weeks, oh, let's see how they do this. Whoa, we all remember we were like, there's no way they do it, but we still talked about John Cena turning, and he did it, and yet we still were, whoa, it happened. This is cool. Now it sucks because of what we followed up after. You could separate the two, but I understand the Undertakers of the world, the old school guys. They're like, I don't really like this. How much do I believe Paul Heyman saying that I don't like this show? I would not be surprised if he's the brainchild of this show, but I love what he says. I'm a child of wrestling. I grew up in this business, and you see him in these studio things, and you're watching him in Connecticut, and you learn to appreciate Paul Heyman a lot more and how much sway he has. One of the greatest minds in the business, but it's true. I think anything touched by WWE has a lot of unreal to it. This is called Unreal. It's supposed to be behind the scenes, but I'm sure there's a lot of this that is more total divas than it is not Dark Side of the Ring. The documentary with Mick Foley that followed Mick Foley and it showed the Bret Hart turn, the Bret Hart screw job. Do you remember that? I think it was Beyond the Ring. Beyond the Ring. I think it was Beyond the Ring. Maybe, I love that freaking thing. That was old. That was back in the day, and that had more realists. That was more real than what this is. Yet, I think I could still enjoy it. My question to you, how much of this do you believe is a work? How much of this do you believe is a shoot? Shoot like being real?
Like the show in general?
Yeah, kayfabe. How much of it, how much is it kayfabe?
I think when the people talk about themselves, like EO or Seth and Becky, about their lives, I think that's all real. I think they want. I think the production of Triple H and WWE and TKO, they want their big storylines to get out. Oh, look what we did. This is how we did it. Aren't we geniuses? I think this is what the show's about. How can we, like, the Seth Rollins, like, when this season 3 comes out, and if WrestleMania gets pulled off, and WrestleMania is a big hit, and they somehow overcome the Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker injury, we're going to see this in Unreal season 3. So right now, everything that they're doing to try to fix this, they're making it a priority to get shot. All right, we need a production team in here. We're talking about Braun Breaker's injury. So I think that they have talking points for their show. Like, nobody's gonna waste their camera time and their production time on Maxine versus whoever, right? Ivy Nile at the time. That was a storyline at the time. There's no production meetings. There's no people with cameras. Oh, okay. So I think Ivy Nile's going to do, because, they have to talk about that match. Ivy Nile's going to do the whole flippy thing. No. Okay, hey, guys, we're talking about Braun Breaker and Seth. Y'all come in here on this date. We're gonna talk about it so I think it's scheduled. Does that make any sense to you at all? Like, they want the cameras to know what they want them to know. They're not shooting 24/7. Because if they were,
I was going to say. So when we talk about Connecticut, the creative meetings, whatever's airing at that time, they want the fans to know. They want people to see where that was. But the other stuff they cut out. The others, there's a lot of it that I'm sure they're like, okay, camera's out of here. There was one clip in there.
Oh yeah, that one clip where the guy was pissed. Yeah,
Jamie Noble, right? Where there was a part where Jamie Noble tells the camera, like, can we just cut that shit off? Cut it off. It was with Seth Rollins. I think it was after that LA Knight thing. And he tells him turn it off. So there's like that. I think that has a lot of it. Yeah, they control what's happening. First off, two things: kayfabe, staged. The world professional wrestling was based off kayfabe. heel wrestlers, when you're a bad guy, you don't hang. Even though Josh, who plays the babyface, I'm the bad guy, we can be best friends. We don't hang out together. The times we do, it's totally like, hey, throw a hood on. Come on, let's go play pool. We'll play at a place. We got to play here, but we're not. You don't drive together. You don't room together. You don't do none of that. You see each other at a gas station. You talk trash. You back, blah blah blah, and you leave. That went away as time went on. Kayfabe started going down, and people started talking about the business. And one of my favorite clips was someone had a camera behind the scenes, and it was old school WWF. Andre the Giant still had the big bushy hair. It wasn't old Andre WrestleMania 3. It was Andre, who was healthy giant. And they brought the camera. I don't know if you ever seen this clip. And they have the camera backstage, and everything's kind of curtained up. And they do this, and it kayfabe. They broke kayfabe. They went back there, and here's Andre with someone else. I think Bobby Heenan, some other guy. And here's a baby face here. Here's a heel here. They're playing dominoes or something. They're playing something, poker, whatever. And Andre standing over him, and you see the guy kind of go like that, and Andre turns around, and he goes, "Get on!" And the guy he goes running. They go, "Oh shit!" The guy goes running. Like, they would beat you to a pulp if they catch you back there. That's how much they love kayfabe, and now that's kind of gone away. The reason why kayfabe was so big for this Unreal was because of the Seth injury. It was Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. I forgot what the whole stipulation was. I don't think it was for the Money in the Bank. I think it was just a match. And the purpose of this was Seth is going to fake an injury. The reason why people believed it was, first off, how they sold it, but also because Seth had been hurt with the same leg years before when he tried to do a reverse powerbomb off the top or something with Kane, if I remember. And when he came over the top, that's where his knee buckled, and he was out for a long time. This one here does a flip off the ropes, catches the leg, he goes down, and they play it off to a T. Nobody knew except for Paul Levesque. I think Bobby Roode was the producer, I think. LA Knight and Paul Heyman. I think it was Paul Heyman's idea, they said.
And
so Cody knew because Cody is the quarterback, and I don't want people to know that I tell everybody, even though you're recording me right now. But I mean, and then here's the kayfabe part. And this is, again, what they did back in the day. Even though this was fake, only a handful of people knew. And in order to keep it real, whenever Seth Rollins was out in public, he was wearing the knee brace. He was crutching. Even when he was out with his daughter, anytime he was outside the house, he had to wear that brace. Nobody else, this is what they say. Don't know how much if it's true. But, Becky Lynch, she was sick to her stomach. She had to lie to his parents. She had to lie to her parents. She had to tell a bunch of people how Seth, he's hurt. He's okay, though. He's getting better. Blah, blah, blah. They keep this going, which that was how it was back in the day. So this injury was as close as you were probably going to get to old school professional wrestling. They kept it real. One thing I liked or that I found interesting was when Seth didn't want LA Knight to know, but he told Seth, Seth, what if I held that from you? You would have blew the fuck up. You would have blew up. And all right, it tells LA Knight. What did you think of all this sequence? And we know what the payoff is. The payoff being was Seth. We saw it when CM Punk won and again, when you see the behind the scenes, and they're saying milk it, milk that championship, pretend you're crying. Oh, and again, then you watch it back and back then it's like, oh, look how much he cares. And hey, Phil Brooks, CM Punk, you're a good actor, man. Acting is in your future, brother, because that came off pretty damn good. And then here comes Seth to a T, and comes out and does the whole sequence. We know, and then here comes the Money in the Bank, and that was the payoff. It worked. The fans went crazy. No one expected it. He was back. What did you think of this whole sequence of events that kind of went into the cashing in and the Seth injury in between all that?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Seth not wanting LA Knight to know.
Jarvis, what's up, my brother? Congratulations on your recent signing, my man. Hope you're doing well, my man.
I do think
Sorry.
that no, that's fine. I'm happy for Jarvis too. I really am. But I'm also a bit disappointed with Seth. This whole show to me made me not a fan of Seth Rollins. I don't want I don't want LA Knight to know. All right. Like, why? Why? That's your partner. It's your peer. That's someone you're going into the ring with. That just shows how selfish and how much of a control freak he is. And I didn't see it before, but I see it now. Like, he is. Maybe that's why he's not the top guy, because of his behind the scenes nonsense. And I'm not starting anything. I'm not trying to, but just this little behind the scenes of him being mad at LA Knight and being selfish and not wanting anyone else to know, like, it rubbed me the wrong way. Him crying about the crutches constantly. Just don't leave the house, dude. Sandman didn't leave the house for 6 weeks. They brought that up in the story. No, I listen. One of the best storylines in modern day history. In my opinion, I loved it. It was probably one of the coolest moments of the year. I mean, probably the way they built it was nice. The way they went on with it was nice. The way Becky was frantically, "Oh, I'm so scared." Like, you're a grown adult. Like, just deal with it. Sorry, Bobby, but it's true, man. Just deal with it. Like, I didn't like any of that crap. I don't know. I don't know about Becky and Seth as people, but I'll tell you this: they're great performers, and that was a great. Like, when he said he didn't know if they were gonna understand that he was walking back and then stop and then take his, throw the crutches. That played off really well on television. Didn't know how it went on live because I obviously wasn't there. And man, Seth did such a good job with that, and everybody did. So, LA Knight, hats off to him though. Terrible finish, stupid finish to his match with Seth. He played it off like he was really pissed, because I truly think he was pissed. Like, this is the finish. This is the finish to this match, okay? Because at that point, it doesn't affect LA Knight. It doesn't make him look better. It doesn't make him look anything good. It just makes him look like a chump beating some injured guy. So I can see why LA Knight was a little upset there. But that being said, things got to be done. The payoff was worth all of it. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, the cash in was worth all of it. Ironically, he got hurt in real life, like, 2 months later? They're probably going to be in WWE Unreal Season 3, Seth's real injury. Karma. Are they gonna
There's a chapter, Karma. That's right. That is awesome.
Dude, everything, and this is like real life stuff, but everything Seth Rollins touches, man. Braun Breaker's out now. Like, what are they gonna do?
So let me just I know this is unreal, but I said this to you because I got the message, or I got the alert. Braun Breaker. I didn't see the injury. That they said he got it from tossing over the table on Raw, and he tore, he had a major hernia and he had to have surgery, and he's out indefinitely. So another curb. Imagine if he had won the Rumble, what you would have to do at that point. So that's the thing, dude. That is the thing. So if Seth comes back before WrestleMania, his opponent would have probably been Braun Breaker. You're not going to get that now. Braun is not going to be at WrestleMania. That's the idea, I guess. I guess that's what's happening. So it's just interesting to see. And what's going to happen with the Vision? Is it time to give Bronson Reed the ball?
No. Blow it up.
Logan Paul. Do they blow it up? You got the Masked Man. Who's Masked Man 2.0 or 3.0 or whoever he is? It was a different guy, I think, this time. He looked taller or something. I don't know. It's just, just not working. And you said it. Anything Seth touches in regards to that, it's like, move on, dude. Move on, brother.
But his cash-ins, two of the best cash-ins in history. The triple threat against Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And then this cash-in on CM Punk, the two best cash-ins of all time.
Yep.
So you can't take that away from him. Seth can perform. It's just he can't stay healthy. So I'm curious to see if he ever, and I know he will. No, you know what? I don't know if he will. He may never be a world champion again. You can't rely on him.
Who, Seth?
Yeah. There's too many top stars. Like, think about it, man. There's too many top stars now. like that you would think. Look at Finn Balor. Hasn't had a championship in how long?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Seth Rollins is on a tier above Finn Balor, but at what point does Seth Rollins go down the line as people like Obafemi and LA Knight and Trick Williams and Trick is mega over right now, brother. Like there's superstars coming in, and then there's guys like Randy Orton and Seth Rollins who are not that they're being phased out, but they're on their way down while other guys are on the ascent. This is a different topic for another show, so I don't want to steer too far into that. Maybe next week we'll do a whole their power rankings. I don't know, but we'll stick on the Unreal right now. But just
I'll just say,
that.
I will just say, just to touch on what you're saying, or to being a champion. Seth is a guy, I think he could be a champion again, but you can't build a long-term program. If he's going to be champion, give it to, hey, there's a 3-month program, build this story, then you're dropping it to this guy. I think you could do that because Seth's that good. But he can't be like what the plan was here. Hey, let's hold it till WrestleMania and go against Braun Breaker and let's do it, because you couldn't survive. You couldn't last. And then Braun probably would not have lasted. But Braun will be a champion one day. But I think as a long-term champion, can't be that. Because, again, you can't trust his body. As great as he is, because he's great. Seth is great. So, go ahead.
Let's be real here, though. Let's be real here. Do we see Roman Reigns ever as a champion again?
Yeah. I think Roman could be a champion. But here's the difference between Roman and Seth. Seth is full-time. He's always going to be, even though they took away house shows, he's always going to be performing every week on Monday Night Raw and, every PLE. Roman's not. Roman is going to be, he's your main attraction. He's your, he's whatever. He's your main event, right? You don't have to see him at these low tier PLEs. He'll be at the big ones, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble, WrestleMania, overseas. He knows how to take care of himself. I don't think when Roman was champion, was he ever injured? Was he ever, I'm sure, not injured. I'm sure everyone gets hurt. Was he out for a foreseeable time because of it? No, he wasn't. He wrestled. He showed up, did a commentary thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm here, here's on the mic. He left everybody else, and then he did his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could get away with that because he is the main attraction. He's bigger than the title. So he could be a champion again. Seth, though, is a working champion, just like Cody is. Cody is that risk. Cody's a guy that you put the belt on him. He's working every show. He's working everything, blah, blah, blah. He could get hurt, and then you got to drop the belt. So Cody is like Seth Rollins. He's a working champion. But Cody remains healthy. Cody has not been out for a long time for an injury. He works through an injury, which is crazy. Where Roman, you could do that. I know you're not going to like when I say it, but I'm just giving an example. Brock Lesnar is one of those guys. He's not one of those guys who's going to work every night. You throw the belt on him, automatically like Roman, makes the belt a main attraction where it's like, it's a special, not a main attraction, a special attraction. Hey, you're not going to see the world title defended this night because Brock or Roman's not working. Oh, they're working Survivor Series. Okay, build a story to that point. That's why to me, the World Championship and the WWE Championship, one of those belts should have been a special attraction. Cody is a working champion. You keep him on Raw. You have the world title. The WWE Undisputed Championship, that's some special attraction. You put it on Roman. You put it on Randy, maybe. You put it on Brock. You put it on someone who's not always going to be around because that belt's not always going to be defended. So, yes, I do think Roman will be champion again and it's not going to matter. Oh, well, he's never around. That's the point.
Well, speaking of, I guess you're calling your main event WrestleMania prediction now. We have another main event to cover, John Cena. And
we want to talk about EO very quick.
Oh, we're talking EO.
Yeah, unless you want to leave her for the main event.
No, we can knock out EO.
No, let's not hate on EO. I can, I'm not a big EO person before this, and not in the ring. I love her in the ring, but overall, I'm not, but she's such a freaking sweetheart. I came out of this I'm an EO fan. Listening to her, she's such a sweetheart.
Yep.
I know a lot of people gave her flack for there's that picture of her hugging Triple H with her legs wrapped around him. But that to me is just who she is. She did the same thing to Rhea. She just seems like that very happy, loving person. Obviously comfortable to do that to Triple H. Stephanie McMahon's right there. Who knows? You never know. But just listening to her, how much she loves people, how much she trying to always make everybody happy. But her, like Chelsea Green, she's willing to do what she has to do to make everything work. You doing this whole thing, I always thought that was such silly, but then you listen to it and people love it and whatever. I mean, again, I guess this is what's good about Unreal. It made me like her as actually care about it, because when in the ring, I'm like, oh, I love watching her matches, but I don't care for her as a character. This made me kind of go, okay, I care a little bit more now, because I kind of see her behind the camera now. I get to see her on the other side of the ring. So that's my thing with Io Sky. What did you think about the Io Sky segment?
Of course, she's gonna come off as a sweetheart. She is. I don't know her, but she came off great. But again, Triple H's comment of, if I could start a wrestling promotion and I had a number one pick, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. Rhea would. Rhea would light years be above her. She could speak English. No disrespect, right? But you are an American company, and cutting a promo is a massive part of being a pro wrestler, and Io just can't do it. Unfortunately. Seriously, unfortunately. She's a great wrestler. She's probably the best top 3. I mean, come on, you're telling me you wouldn't take Liv Morgan over Io Sky, Triple H? Come on. Be realistic. But I get it. You're trying to get her over. I get it. This is her spot. She looked great. She looked awesome. I love that she just takes risks. They didn't talk about her Lucha Underground matches with Penta, but she had them too. Go look them up. Hers were better. Io's just one of those spectacular athletes. But he's talking about special attraction. She's a special attraction. She's someone that people come to watch. She's somebody that people will buy a ticket for, to watch her jump and flip and do crazy things that women don't do in the wrestling ring. So I can see her appeal. It's just, you're right, Bobby. Her as a wrestling character, I don't care for. Or her as a person, she came off great. All the people do here, except for Seth and Becky. All of them, minus those two, came off good in this whole series. And Bruce Pritchard.
What did you think about Triple H saying, if he had to start if he started a wrestling company, if they gave him one option to bring someone, he said he'd bring Io? What'd you think of that?
You obviously didn't listen to me. I just went off about how it's a ridiculous comment. Liv Morgan.
I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Better. Rhea Ripley. Better. Stephanie Vacquier. Better. There's many. Bianca Belair I would take over her. Come on, Triple H. Like, the way he said it, I know he meant in the women's division, because you're not telling me you're taking her over Cody, CM Punk. You're just not. But in the women's division, even, you're telling me you're not taking Rhea. I mean, I understand Charlotte, Becky, like those are over the hill. Becky. Yeah, Becky too. Bailey, I meant to say, over the hill kind of performers. I get it. But you're not taking Io Sky over Rhea Ripley, brother.
I didn't hear the start. I didn't hear the start of it. My mistake. Now you're talking about that moment. Sorry. I heard all the extra parts. Okay.
So that was a ridiculous comment, but I get it. He's pumping her up. It is what it is. That's like coach speak. Oh man, we got great receivers in this room. Oh really? You wouldn't want to upgrade ever? Like you wouldn't want Jamar Chase? You wouldn't want Justin Jefferson? Our guys are great. No, you're just saying that because that's who you have.
Yeah, when he said that, I mean, I get it, right? She's a team player. I think that's what goes into it. You don't get pushback. She's amazing in the ring. She's a sweetheart. She's a team player. I think that goes all into it. You're going to get a 5-star match out of her. That matters, right? Now, again, for me, like you tell me, okay, Bobby, if you had to pick one current man wrestler and a female wrestler, who's your female wrestler? If I'm looking down that list, I mean, again, it's true, but it's also, a funny choice. I would say Charlotte Flair, but realistically, if you're telling me out of everybody, if like, as much as I love the Charlotte Flair, I would say Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley she might be the biggest superstar in WWE. I mean, men and women. Rhea Ripley is probably the biggest superstar. So I would say Rhea Ripley. I mean, we play WWE 2K. You go draft, the first one I'm looking at, I'm going, okay, Roman, Rhea, bam, bam. I'm not thinking like, come on, Paul.
Wait, that's who your pick is? Let me tell you something. I'm not joking. I did a wrestling. I started a new universe. We'll get back to the topic. I did a draft with Copilot. I entered in all the roster, and I did a draft with Copilot. So Copilot's running a division, and I'm running a division.
Okay.
I'm bored.
Yeah.
My first 2 picks were Ciampa. My first 2 picks were Ciampa and Liv Morgan. You know who Copilot is? You know who Copilot's first picks were? I'm not even dead. I can't wait to tell you.
Oh,
It was Charlotte Flair.
damn right.
Yeah, I know, right? Hilarious. And Seth Rollins. So like they got it half right. Like Seth's up there, but Charlotte and in this economy,
piss off!
brother,
You
in this economy,
You picked Ciampa, brother. How can you sit there and criticize Copilot if you're gonna tell me you picked Ciampa?
number 1, baby.
Ciampa?
Hey, I was riding the AEW hype, brother, and then he lost his title 11 days later.
AEW, brother. Oh God, Liv Morgan, I get Ciampa.
Yeah, bro.
Dude,
He's my world,
Charlotte.
he's my world champion. He's my world champion. All right, Ciampa's my world champion. Maybe I'm not booking him correctly because the way to book Ciampa.
I'm gonna go off thing here. EO, this is how much we love you, EO. Is that you totally got us on a whole other thing here. I have to, yeah, see, there's Sammy. Okay, let's say we're playing WWE 2K right now. And shout out 2K26. It's coming out. I'm really looking forward to the WCW versus the Monday Night Wars edition. It looks kind of good. At first, I was kind of like, it looks kind of the same. You're just throwing a bunch of the. I hope. Yep. I'm praying they get Sting in there. I'm hoping that I think he's still signed AEW. I hope they could work that out. Either way, we'll see. But I'm gonna throw this out there. It's totally different, but I don't give a damn. He did this. This is on Josh, Mister. Let's make sure we're right at an hour, brother. This is on you. All right.
Yes.
Let's just say we're playing 2K. There's Raw. Let's say we take out SmackDown. There's Raw. Let's say we're going to take NXT out. We're going to put ACW. And let's say we take SmackDown. We're going to put WCW. All right. Current stars. All right. Because I think this matters. Okay. Here's your WWF Raw. Who are your first man and woman pick? Give me your 2 picks for Raw. These are your leaders on Raw.
I mean, I'll be realistic. So Roman and Rhea.
Perfect. Okay. Great. All right. Now, think about this, okay? ECW. Who's your 2 picks for ECW?
For current
You're
wrestlers?
like, okay, yeah, you're saying these are the 2 who are going to lead ECW, my male and female superstar.
Gotcha. So like Punk and probably Stephanie Vecchio.
I could see it.
She fits that mold of like being tough and like hardcore, different look. That's why I picked her.
Now, so that makes sense. I like that. You see, you're getting it. Now, let's see if you hit the nail on the head with WCW. Because to me, this is easy. This would be very easy. But we'll see. Now you're choosing for W. Who's your leaders for WCW? Men and women. You got Cody. Roman and Rhea. You got Rhea. Okay, you said Cody. That's
Cody,
right.
Obviously, Cody.
Uh-huh.
But see, here's where I think you're going to trick me up.
I'm not tricking you. This is easy, brother. Don't mess this up.
I'm going to mess it up because I don't know who you're saying. You're putting pressure on me. I would just go with my third favorite. Well, Liv's my favorite girl that's in the company, but I would just go with the one left, which is Liv. So what's the trick question? Because to me, it's Liv.
You put Liv Morgan? It's Charlotte Flair.
No, come
Cody
on.
Rhodes, and Flair.
I told
Rhodes and Flair, the plumber's son, and woo! Are you kidding?
Charlotte doesn't exist in my universe, bro. I put her ratings all the way. I put her sliders all the way down.
You were good up until I knew you were gonna mess it up. You Charlotte hater, the greatest female superstar of all time.
She doesn't exist in my WWE universe. I don't let her play in my world ever. She sucks.
Come on, Justin. You knew damn well what the answer was. I guarantee you, Justin knew the answer, and he was gonna say, "You had it good." Yes, Roman, Rhea on Raw, perfect. ECW, that one's a little different. But you go, okay, Punk, because it's, it matches. And then Stephanie McCurry, she has the look. ECW. WCW, Charlotte Flair, Cody Rhodes. It's like a match in heaven.
Speaking of Cody Rhodes, we have a main event match to talk about where the creative team
That's on
WWE
you, brother.
Unreal said, you know what? F it. We're going to turn this guy babyface. Just F it. We don't know what to do. We're going to turn this guy babyface. That just showed me that they don't think about what they're gonna. Becky, exactly. Becky Hogan could have been a great choice than Sammy, but this whole Cena situation just tells me that they just don't think. That was just the most weirdest, awkward little decision. Oh, we're just gonna turn babyface and have a match. There's two guys having a street fight out of respect, as they explained it. Kind of silly. When it went down live, I think we went on the show and said, "Was that real? Did he just turned baby?" We were still going into SummerSlam thinking, "Is John Cena really a babyface now?" Remember that? And it was true, and that was their decision. Turned out to be the best decision of their life because there was no other way to go. But that being said, Bobby, how did you like how this all went down? The production of it, how they went through it, their thought process of just turning. Because remember, the week before, Cody Rhodes put Cena through a table and forced him to sign the contract. Remember that. The very next week, babyface.
Yeah. So, again, I love the heel turn. I still think it's one of the best heel turns. Hold on, just 1 second. I'm gonna have to tell my brother that I'm doing a show. He's called me 3 times. I'm gonna tell him I can't talk. This is Nikki. He's training for his first match. He's getting his first official wrestling match. He says we could air it here. Hey man, I'm doing a show. I'm doing a show. I'm live right now. They hear me talking here. You won your match? Oh, there you go. He had his first match and he's won because you know what it is? He's my brother and I'm a 14-time champion and I'm that great. And he had his first match and he's won his first official professional wrestling match. There you go. There you
That's
go.
awesome.
All right. Love you too, man. Congratulations. Yeah. Let me know. I'll call you later. All right. All right. Send it to me. Love you. Bye. All right. Bye.
Let's go. 1-0. 1-0. My
1-0,
God.
brother. You see, we wake up in the morning and we piss excellence, and that's what that is. Think about this. Your first official match. He travels, right? He doesn't do, he goes to different schools and he trains. He goes there and they say, hey, wait a second. You're Bobby's brother? You're going to win your first match, dude. That's why he won. It wasn't that he put the work in. It's not that. It's that he's, you know what I mean? You can't let champions, you know what I mean? That's why Charlotte is Charlotte. That's why Becky is Becky. That's why I'm Bobby. That's what happens. Congratulations to Nick, man. There you go. He's very excited. He's like, I just want to call you. Sorry, I'm bothering you, man. I just wanted to tell you. He's like, oh, that's great. He's gonna send me the match later. I'm gonna see if I told him. I said, would it be cool? And I said, just double check with them. When he told me the other night, he kept calling me again. It was midnight. I'm like, oh God. I told Hadi, I'm sorry. Pause the show. Let me take the call. And we ended up being for an hour, but. I told him, I said, well, would it be cool? Like if we could get that match, can you ask them if Josh and I could play that match during the show and we'll call it like as we're watching it? He's like, I'll ask, it's their permission first. But if we do, I don't care how long it is. It probably won't be that long. We'll play it here live so everybody can watch it and we'll call it, Josh. Maybe you'll be the baby face and I'll be the heel commentator. I can just keep talking trash. So there you go. Sorry, back to this. Let me rewind. So, in regards of John Cena's heel turn, second to Hulk Hogan, it was something you thought you'd never see. Even though we did see Cena heel before, Hogan was heel before too, but that was way before anybody cared. But Cena, again, unless you were us who remembered Thugonomics and all this whatnot, you didn't know. But also being that it was his last run, you didn't think you would ever see it. But it happened. I think what killed it, having Rock and whoever the hell that guy's name was involved.
Yeah, Brian. I
don't
know his whole name.
Either way, the rapper, whoever he was.
That guy.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name right now. The celebrity.
I don't know who it is.
I don't know who it is. So either way, it don't matter because he's so irrelevant. But like having them involved again, anything that The Rock touched since his last WrestleMania, it's been a joke. Coming out here doing this, doing the 1-2, like, ooh, unless you're not going to be involved, get the out. Travis Scott, thank you, Justin. But I think that if it hadn't been involved, maybe it would have been better because you never would have had that thing like, oh, when's Rock coming back to be involved in this? John Cena tried, and if you would have taken that part of it, it may have been decent enough because then he could have played the heel to CM Punk and CM Randy Orton, whatever. Didn't have it. The turn itself, going back to a babyface. I think if you would have had it where seeing it, maybe somebody, The Rock came back and then Cody's getting beat in the ring and Cena comes back and turns and saves Cody, then that probably would have been okay. But because I think it had a lot to do with the fans. The fans themselves continue to say they didn't want to see John Cena the heel. They kept cheering him. He kept teasing, oh, I'm going to come back. I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit you with the, oh, maybe I won't. Then he does it. I'll tell you what, I think the turn, as confusing as it was, I love how they did it where, he with the SummerSlam itself. Because he said, you know what? I appreciate you did this because you're going to get the best of me, ba, 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 ba. And you're kind of like, oh, so he's just turned back. I don't think we needed that big moment about him turning back, even though it probably would have worked better for someone like you, right? Because I get it, I understand it. But I think what made up for that confusion was the match. First off, the match itself was great. This was way better than WrestleMania. WrestleMania compared to this Cody Cena match, this match was unbelievable. It made you go, there's so much more to this John Cena.
Mhm.
Like it could have been a great run if you would have had that John Cena and these type of matches. When it was the same black John Cena logo and you hear the dun, dun, and then, when that music hit and you saw all the colors and John Cena, that saved the heel turn. The babyface turn. That was like, yes, that was amazing. And then that match itself, and then Cena coming over the thing and you see the lift and he's there and he smiled, like that was fun. So I think that saved his final run. Even though I enjoyed the heel turn, the heel run, because it gave us a different version of John Cena. This here, and because we did get the promo, we got the great promo what he had with CM Punk. We have that. We never would have got that if he wasn't the heel. Even though Cena is great on the microphone, he's one of the best.
Yep.
We didn't get that. So there are things to enjoy about the heel run, but this here, just the turn and the way they did it and the way they did the entrance and then the match itself and then the matches we got after, I could appreciate it. And I did enjoy this match. I think it was a great match. It was a great match for Cody. John Cena made up for the mess in WrestleMania, which it was. And again, the only reason why it really messed up is because The Rock and Travis Scott being involved. I think if they weren't, and John Cena just turned, because maybe he was frustrated because he was on a losing streak. He wasn't John Hogan. He kept turning people over. So I think the heel turn would have made sense if Travis Scott and The Rock were not involved. Because then John Cena would have had reason to go, had reason to do it. But because they were involved, that's what killed it. And so you had to make that U-turn because the fans just weren't going to turn.
I just think that everything you said is correct. And I don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk more about Cody Rhodes. And do you think you could hang out with this guy? Like, he's doing yoga. He's drinking his little coffee. Like, he's just the most insufferable human being, like Cody Rhodes. But hear me out. Like, if I was rich and stuff, I'd probably be doing that stuff too. Like, I'm not kidding. I probably would be. Like, if I had time to go do yoga, I would go do yoga. If I had time, like, I actually like Cody, as insufferable as he is outside of the ring with his. Good on you, WWE, for not putting in Brandy more this season. Like, thank goodness. I appreciate that so much. We didn't see much of her during this whole extravaganza. Going into season 3, which we know there will be a season 3. It ends with Brock Lesnar beating up John Cena, and we know what happens. But if you're a viewer of just the Unreal series, you don't know what happens moving forward. What storylines? Because it's going to go into the entire John Cena run. We're going to see AJ Styles the setup. We're going to see the Brock Lesnar, why they decided to have him squash Cena. We're going to have the Dominic Mysterio matches, I'm assuming. But other than the John Cena stuff, what are you looking forward to in season 3 of learning? Because they're going to do the spotlights on people, on certain wrestlers are going to get that spotlight. Whether it be a Roxanne Perez and her growth, whether it be someone more on Chelsea Green, maybe we get to see more Stephanie Vakir. Who are you looking forward to? Obafemi, the rise of Javon Evans. Like, we're going to see these stories. and I'm actually looking forward to it. So out of those, I told you, or maybe something you could think of. What are you looking forward to?
Obviously, I do want to go into I want to go into the return of Brock Lesnar, how that come about, what were the negotiations, and then why it is the squash. Because again, the squash made sense if it went the way we discussed it. How I said, Brock going over, John then going over, and then finishing up at War Games. That wasn't the case. So, and if you just go based off what you've seen now, it does not make sense because I can understand if, again, the squash and then John Cena or the squash and then maybe Gunther going over on Brock or whatever. The current thinking supposedly is Brock in LA Knight at WrestleMania. That's what's been thrown out there. Does that come into play? So that I definitely want to see why. I want to go into that. I'd love to go into WWE influence on TNA. I want to see the Jordan Grace, the Joe Hendrys. How much does WWE involve themselves in TNA's story? TNA was in Nashville yesterday, and tonight they're going to be on again. I was going to try to see if I get in there, but it ain't going to work out, which really sucks, but it is what it is. If it was, then I wouldn't probably have done the show tonight. But I was trying to figure that out, but it wasn't working out. But I would like to see that. I would like to get into, into them more, into Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace, and even NXT, Blake Monroe, her coming over from AEW, even though I probably won't talk about that, but what made it, that's the type of stuff I would like to get into, and how she's like, oh, are you coming to WWE? You're going to go to NXT, and why that happened. So that's some of the stuff that I would really be interested in for next season, the season 3 of Unreal.
Yeah, I know they're not going to talk about other promotions. They're not going to hype up other promotions, but some things I want to see too. What's going on, Adrian? Some things I would like to see that are off the wall situations. I would like to know the reaction behind scenes when they saw Andrade on AEW television. What was their reaction? Holy crap, this guy was still under contract or has it not.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Because that happened during that happened. We're gonna see Liv Morgan's return. How they got her back. We're gonna see her injury. We're probably gonna see her rehab. I'm just thinking
something I'd like to see. Liv Morgan. I would love to see, and I don't know if they would because it's a total divas type of thing, but I would like to know. Because I just saw recently Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio on a kiss cam, and they did kiss. And they were like, no, come on, it's just that's a little thing. I want to see more. And they were like, no. And you can see Dom was kind of like, ooh, don't, I would like to see maybe how that impacts home. How does Dom respond to that? Like, hey, when went to make out with her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that type of talk behind the scenes. Like, do you got to convince him? He's kind of like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
I'll be honest with you.
I
don't want to see Dom on Unreal right now because his character is such a dirtbag. I don't want to like him.
You don't want to see the good part. You don't want to see the real him.
I don't. Not right now. He's not ready. His character is not ready. I think it would be unfair to his character. Honestly.
Well, if you're gonna see Liv Morgan, you're gonna see Dom.
Of course.
I don't know how you could ignore one or the other.
I know.
But I like that. I do like that. I like that.
Yeah. So I can't wait for season 3. We'll talk about all that fun stuff when that does come out. We know it's coming. We know we're going to be talking about it. But until next week, we have plenty more planned, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
Calling a match. We're going to call your brother's match.
I'm going to try to work that out. Yeah.
That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it. I'm glad that he won his first match. Was it a single one-on-one, or are you unaware of what happened?
I'm unaware. I thought it was a tag, but I think maybe it was a one-on-one. I know he's playing the heel, though. I do know that. He's the heel.
Oh, he's a cheater. He cheat. He probably behind the back stuff. All right.
It's winning, brother. You win. You win.
You just win.
You play to win the game.
Yeah, I guess you're right, man. But until next week, guys, my name's Josh. This is Bobby. We are No Holds Barred here on the Fins Talk Sports Network. We appreciate all of the interactions tonight. And I hope you have a good one. Have a great Valentine's Day, by the way.
You as well, sir. To you and yours.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I have
later.
I'm actually going to hit the button this time.
Oh, yeah. There you go.